You've made a sale and you're feeling pretty great about life, right? You put so much work and effort into this product that you sold, and you're so excited for it to get somewhere else, right? For it to get to its end destination, its new home. And it can be a struggle because we don't know what exactly the customer is going to say, but we hope they put a pretty good review in, right? Well, maybe a few days later after they get the product, you get a notification saying that they left a review. You're so excited, you go to the review, you look at it, and it says, "It sucks." What do you do when you get a bad review? How can you get a bad review and not take it personally as a creative, as a type of artist, right? Because a lot of times we take this way too seriously. And I don't mean that as in don't feel emotions, don't try your best. I mean that as in this is still a business. You have to think of this from a business perspective. And honestly, having reviews, whether good or bad, that is what's going to propel your business forward, because the good reviews make you feel good inside. It helps you know you're on the right track. And the bad reviews, well, the bad reviews tell you maybe your products aren't that great. Maybe the quality just isn't there. Maybe you did mess up on something, or you had the wrong product in the box that they got, right? So that means you need to focus a little more on what they actually bought. And so that's what this whole entire video is going to be about. Essentially just how we can turn bad reviews into good business, because this is really, really important. And it's really important to not take offense. And it's hard to do that because the second we have a review that says it sucks or this didn't happen, regardless of anything, right? Regardless of if you were right, they were wrong, whatever the case, we get defensive. And it makes sense because it feels like someone is targeting us, but that's not the case. As you can see, we are on Etsy right now, and the whole point of this video, again, is to help us figure out how we can better respond to reviews that maybe aren't that great, right? So I don't want this to be feeling like I'm targeting these shops. I'm just randomly going through and trying to find some that aren't a 5-star review. And I just typed in crochet stuffy, and we're going to try to find a listing that, again, isn't 5 stars. I really want to harp on this and reiterate that I am not trying to be mean to these shops. I'm not saying that these shops are terrible and the people suck at whatever they're doing. That is not the whole purpose of this. So just wanted to reiterate that, right? We're just trying to find some reviews. And with that being said, not all reviews are bad, right? You could have a review that says something along the lines of, hey, the plushie that I got, it just didn't feel like it was stuffed enough. So something like that, yes, it could lead to maybe a 1-2 star review, but it's not bad. It's something that we can actually work on and fix. So I found this listing, went down here. I did see that this listing, obviously they sell more than just that little guy up there. It's talking about a tumbler, and this is a 2-star review. So it originally says, it is not the same one that's in the photo. It says, I'm very sorry you are unhappy with your tumbler. However, the size and style that you ordered was not the same as the tumbler in the photo. The ad does state the size of the tumbler in the picture. Had you contacted me before leaving a negative review, I would have been able to work with you so that you were satisfied. Etsy sellers depend on completely positive reviews. This is actually a really great one to start out on, and again, it says it's not the same one in the photo. So if you are taking your own photos for your listings for the products that you're creating, you want to make sure, I'm just going to go up here for a second. So this, for example, you want to make sure that the pictures you are uploading and posting are not only high quality, but that they accurately represent the product you are selling. Now, obviously, we're handmade business owners, right? We make these handmade products, so it's important to make a disclaimer or in your titles and your descriptions to make sure that you're saying, hey, this is a handmade item. Because of that, there will be some variation, maybe a slight variation in color, slight variation in size, things like that. We just want to make sure that the customer knows that this is for sure a handmade item. Now, we all know a lot of customers are not reading and they are not doing their due diligence before they buy a product. So what I like to do is go over to this section and use all 10 photos. In one of the photos, I'll just actually make a design in Canva and write on there, hey, this is about the dimensions. Yes, there might be some variation and things like that, just to kind of cover my own butt, and hopefully they read that. So it does say here that the ad does state the size of the tumbler in the picture, and this part doesn't really help us, what we're doing right here in this video, because I can't tell what they thought they were getting versus what they got. So we're kind of going to ignore this part for now. But this part, had you contacted me before leaving a negative review, I would have been able to work with you so that you were satisfied. Oh, please do not put the blame on the customer, right? Never, never do this. I'm sure we've all heard that the customer is always right, and I will be the first to tell you that no, they're not always right. However, as a small business owner, there are right and wrong ways to respond to a comment or review such as this. Right now, this is attacking the customer, and we don't want to attack the customer. It's essentially saying, hey, this is on you. I did everything I was supposed to do. I'm an amazing business owner. You're the customer, and you're the one that sucks at reading, right? We don't want to do that. And when we look at this from the perspective of the customer, I would read this as someone who thought they were getting what they ordered and didn't. I would be upset, right? I spent money on something and I didn't get what I thought I was getting. So when I read this, I'm looking at it and saying, had I contacted you? Hello? Like, I shouldn't have to contact you. You should be giving me what I ordered. So I feel targeted, I feel attacked, and there is no way that I am going to change my review, because I'm looking at this and thinking, nope, I want everyone to know that this is a bad shop and I will never shop here again. So if we go down to this next sentence, it says, I would have been able to work with you so that you were satisfied. Again, you are just shifting the blame from yourself to the customer, regardless of if the customer is right or wrong to begin with. So when we go to this last line, Etsy sellers depend on completely positive reviews. I mean, yes and no. If you have really good quality products, it doesn't really matter. Like, you are going to get hopefully more good reviews than bad, but at some point you will get a bad review. It's inevitable. So by saying this, we're saying that this customer is a terrible, awful customer, and they're essentially ruining our business. But the thing is, not all negative reviews are bad. They can be really, really helpful for us as business owners. Also, once you reply to a review like this on Etsy specifically, you kind of just set it in stone. So instead of commenting right away, and we don't know if they had a back and forth before this, but instead of replying right away, I would actually contact the customer and just say, hey, I saw this review, and I'm really sorry that this didn't live up to your expectations. Is there anything that I could do to make this right? And then kind of work with them and see if they say yes, there's always a possibility that they would be willing to actually change that review afterwards. And honestly, this whole thing is the fault of the buyer and of the seller. The buyer wasn't reading properly, and the seller just should not have responded like this either. Again, we do not want to put the blame on the buyer, especially when they feel like they were gypped out of their own money. So please just keep these things in mind when you are responding to these negative/bad reviews. I mean, I myself have gotten bad reviews. Here's one right here. So it says, perfect, I'm in love with it, but there are only 4 stars. Like, come on, man, like, how can it be better than perfect, right? How can you only give 4 stars? Give me the 5, like, that's all I want. But at the same time, this isn't going to bother me very much. I know I have high quality products, it still shows that I have 5 stars, so even another previous or, new customer, they'll look at this and it will not faze them. They're not gonna not buy from me because of that. So this is my favorite review of all time. It is a 1-star review saying that it was smaller than I expected, but maybe it was my fault for not reading the size. Let's click on this and see what my actual makeup listing looks like. Ignore this first image because this is not a great first image, but as you can see, it says 2-inch makeup sticker, and if you go over to the images, you can see what the sticker looks like in comparison to my hand, so you should be able to get a pretty good idea of the size. Over here you can obviously select the specific sticker you want. If I go down to the description, it does say these 2-inch stickers are perfect for any makeup lover. So there's honestly not a whole lot else I could do. Maybe I could just write out the word inch, INCH, that could help a little bit, but for the most part, this is the fault of the customer. They didn't read my description properly. And I guess, yeah, right? I mean, she's upset because it's smaller than she thought, but I'm trying not to take this one to heart. Like, I was really upset when I got this, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here on my high castle thinking like, oh, none of these bother me. No, they do. They really bothered me, but this is nothing, like, I can't do anything more about this listing. It clearly states that they are 2-inch stickers. I don't even offer different sizes for this. Like, they are 2-inch stickers, like, straight up. So when you get reviews like this, sure, internalize it. I'm not saying don't have emotions when you get a negative review, but also learning, is there something that I can do better? Because if so, that is what the customer deserves. They deserve a product that is amazing. So keep that in mind as well. Alright, this person has a 4.7 rating. So let's see if I can find any reviews that aren't 5 stars. Again, not trying to attack anybody, just want to help you figure out how to respond to reviews like this. This one says, I buy a lot of patterns here, but I have to say this one was not the most helpful or easy to follow. So is this a bad review? You look at the 1 star and you're automatically going to think, yes, it's a bad review, right? But what can we do to turn this from a bad review into a good review, or at least help it, enhance what we are already doing in our business? So as we can see here, it says, I buy a lot of patterns here, and by that statement alone, I'm looking at this as this person has bought several patterns and they loved them, obviously, which is why they tried to buy this one, but it wasn't the most helpful. So what I would do is actually contact this person and ask them for some more feedback. Say, I'm sorry that this was not up to your standards. Would you be willing to chat with me about what I could have done better on this pattern, and then review it and figure out if there's something you could actually change to make it better. So here we have a 3-star review that says, I have crochet for over 50 years and this pattern is not well written. I will need to rewrite the pattern to be sure I get 2 pieces to match. Not ideal. Thankfully, I didn't pay full price. So when we look at this, we need to look at it from the perspective of the customer. And after reading this, they've been crocheting for over 50 years, right? So they know what's up. They know how to crochet and they know definitely how to read a pattern. So again, I would be looking at this from the perspective of the customer, right? It's not well written. So what can we do? If I were them, I would be contacting this customer, reaching out to them and asking, I'm sorry that, again, this didn't live up to your expectations. I'm sorry this was difficult to read, but I was wondering if you'd be willing to share your experience or share which sections you are struggling to read, because if there's anything that I can change or do better for the next person and for you, I would be really grateful for any assistance. And you could even tell them, like, hey, if we can figure this out and I can make this pattern for everyone that is going to look at it, I'd be happy to give you a 10% off discount for the next pattern that you create. Whether or not they're going to change their review, who knows? But it's definitely more likely they'll change their review if you are willing to essentially change the pattern and help them so that it actually does make sense for everybody involved. I really hope that this helped you a lot, just kind of understand how you should be responding to these reviews, but definitely respond to every single review, not just the bad ones, respond to all of them. And if you do get a bad review, don't respond right away, because we don't want to set that review in stone. Make sure that you're contacting the customer. And if you ever get a review that really has nothing to do with you, I have seen people get reviews that say something along the lines of, the USPS lost my package. And you can go to Etsy and essentially have them remove that, because it's nothing you could have done better or different. Now, if you have a review that you're really struggling with and you're not sure how to respond to it, definitely let me know in the comments and I can help you, write something that's very professional and diplomatic. And maybe you just want to share a review and vent a little bit. That's okay too. I don't care. Put that in the comments. We'll help you out, and maybe we'll even, hate on that comment with you. But you're not always going to get 5 stars, and that can really, really suck. But when it comes down to it, the 4 stars and below are the ones that really help you learn how to make your business better. The things that you can change to make sure that your customers are loving what you do. So if you have any questions or thoughts on anything else that I've talked about, definitely let me know in the comments, because I'm here to help you grow your handmade business. So definitely use this opportunity. So all in all, what are we learning from this? How are we turning these bad reviews into good business? We went through a few of these things. We understand why we feel the way we do when we get those bad reviews, but it's your job and your responsibility as a small business owner to take those into consideration in order to make your business better. Having your own business can be very, very difficult. So it's not easy to do this. It's not easy to take these bad reviews and negative feelings that you feel like are so personal and turning them into dollars, right? But you really can do that. And that's why it is important to get reviews. It's important to ask for reviews. And it's a learning curve, right? We are always growing as entrepreneurs, as small business owners. And because we're always growing, it means that we are not perfect. We will never be perfect, but that's okay. Something that I learned when I was in art school was done is better than perfect. So for me, that was really difficult because I wanted everything to be perfect, every line, everything to be exactly where it should be. But I came to find out it's better to be done than to be perfect. It's better to get a 90 than to get a 0. So I want you to think of it kind of like that versus just it's all or nothing. And I think that's something that stops a lot of us creatives from continuing, because we get a bad review or one thing goes wrong and we're like, well, throwing in the towel. But things get better, and the whole point of this is to figure out what works best for your business and how you can make your customers the happiest that they can be, because that's what it's about, to make your business. Yes, you're creating these products, but it's so much more rewarding to see someone get your product and be excited about it and to give you a good review. And that's what this is really about. Keep going, keep building your business, take those reviews into account, and don't be afraid to try something new. I hope this helped everyone, because I know it's not the easiest thing to go through, and I hope some of these examples helped you kind of understand how you can respond to everybody. And again, it really doesn't matter if it's on Etsy, Shopify, your own website, wherever you're selling your items, even in real life. You want to take those reviews and you want to get and ask for those reviews so that you can make your business better. Because after all, being a small business owner, that means that your business is a direct reflection of you, of who you are. So if you get a bad review, it does feel like it's attacking you personally, but I want you to realize you can change. You can be coachable. You can start understanding how to make a difference in your business simply because of these reviews. So if you want more content like this, if you have any other ideas or things that you'd like me to go over as it pertains to being a small handmade business owner, definitely let me know. Anything from marketing and social media to emails to how do I take better product photography, things like that. But let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this and if you learned anything, because that's what I'm here for. I would love to make this a full-time gig, obviously. I've said that in a few videos now. But in order for me to do that, I need a review. I need some comments and people helping me as well. And so I'm practicing what I preach, right? I need those reviews, I need those comments. So please pop down in the comment section and let me know what you need, what you like, and how I can help you and best help you grow your small business, because we are all in this together and that's really what I want to do. So subscribe for more content and I will see you in the next one.